Hi, I'm David Wolf, Case Brand Marketing Manager, and I'm here to introduce today the brand new E-Series wheel loaders from Case. Productivity, reliability, durability, ease of maintenance, and operator comfort. These are all words that describe the new E-Series wheel loaders from Case. When we start talking about production, of course we have to start with the attachment. The Case E-Series bucket has features designed into it to improve productivity, such as the bolt-on cutting edge. You can see the bolt-on cutting edge has been extended out further in front of the bucket, but also has been narrowed down to a very fine edge. This is required so that you can get easy penetration into the pile, so that you get that material to start to move into the bucket. The bottom floor plate of the E-Series bucket has also been placed on a 5-degree angle. So once that material starts getting into the bucket, it has a nice, smooth but aggressive transition to the back curvature of the bucket, so that you get a real good boiling action and mixing of that material so that it fills very rapidly. Coming to the back side of the bucket, you can see that the hinge pin heights have been raised. Two reasons for that. One is first to get those hinge pins out of that dirt and debris for extended life. Second of all is when the operator starts to curl the bucket, the cutting edge, the bolt-on cutting edge, continues to cut through the pile, placing more material into the bucket. A couple of service points that would need to be pointed out on the E-Series buckets is the bottom skid plates are bolt-on skid plates instead of welded on. So when they get worn, they're easily replaced. The other thing that we've incorporated on the E-Series wheel loader buckets is that we have, on all the linkage pins, we have placed split O-ring seals to guard against additional infiltration of dust for extended component life. When moving to the frame, you got to take a look in comparing frames. Take a look at the material thicknesses that are used on the new E-Series wheel loaders. The thicknesses of the loader arm, the thickness of the bell crank, and especially the thickness of the dog bone. There's a lot of material there, there's a lot of mass, which gives you the impression of both of strength and durability and ruggedness. Now you combine those features with production enhancement features such as standard return to dig, standard return to carry, and height control. You can see where the E-Series wheel loaders are a very productive machine. Moving to the axle, Case on all their wheel loaders uses limited slip axles both on the front and on the rear. The benefit of limited slip axles is that it automatically transfers the power from the wheel that is slipping to the wheel that is gripping, so that you maintain tractive effort when you're penetrating into the pile. The other thing that is important for serviceability and maintainability is Case uses outboard planetaries and outboard wet disc brakes instead of inboard planetaries, inboard wet disc brakes, where if you have a problem you have to take out the whole axle. On the Case wheel loaders you can service them right from the wheel end. The other benefit of outboard planetaries and outboard wet disc brakes is that the weight of that outboard planetaries and outboard wet disc brakes are transferred to the outside of the frame, so that you've got better stability, a smoother ride, more operator comfort. When moving to the articulation joint, keep in mind maintainability, serviceability. You have excellent access to your whole transmission. Fluid check with a fluid sight gauge. Excellent accessibility. Also, we have vertically mounted hydraulic filters and transmission filters mounted on the opposite side. But take a look at where the steering cylinders are mounted. Instead of being down low in the dirt and debris, they're brought up on top here, so they're out of that dirt debris to extend that component life. The articulation joint, take note of the material thickness used in the articulation joint, but also point out that there's tapered roller bearings in both the top and the bottom articulation joint for extended component life. Auxiliary grease fittings, located very handily so that you can do your daily maintenance very quickly. These are used for both ends of the rod cylinders. Then you also have a Lube for Life drive shaft. Other things to point out, standard locking mechanisms, safety locks. You have your articulation lock mounted down below, then you also have your loader cylinder safety lock mounted here. Ride control, when taking a look at ride control, the benefits of ride control are numerous. What ride control does is allows your loader arm cylinders to act like a shock absorber. The benefit of that, of course, is maintaining material retention, reducing the shock load of the machine, reducing the shock load on the operator for operator comfort. So there's many benefits of ride control, and I recommend it for all wheel loaders. On the E-Series, the ride control can also be operated in 2 different work modes. It could be in the auto mode, so that when you're roading and get above 3 miles an hour, it automatically will kick on. If you get below 3 miles an hour, it will disconnect. And it can also be operated on all the time, so that if you're carrying material up an incline, you still want to have the benefits of that ride control. Simple modification that's been made is the angle of the steps. The steps have been placed on a slight angle, so it's very easily to get in and out of these machines. Moving to the cab. The E-Series wheel loader has introduced a brand new cab. You can note one thing, the door swings back 180 degrees and locks in, but again you can see how easy it is to get in and maintain the proper arm-hand configuration to get into the machine. The E-Series brand new cab is designed for ergonomics and operator comfort. You can see the adjustability in the cab, first of all with the tilt steering wheel, but then also with the full adjustment of the seat. You have an armrest, and an air seat is an option. The floor space has been increased, again for additional roominess, ample leg room, and a lot of operator comfort. When you take a look at the storage compartments within the cab, we do have a cool box over on the left-hand side. It's got an air diffuser coming in so that you get air conditioning, which circulates within the box to keep your refreshment or your sandwiches cool. On the opposite side, you have a lockable storage compartment that you can put in some valuables, plus 2 cup holders. You can see that you have floor-to-ceiling glass on each side, which gives you excellent visibility to the front tires and the bucket edge. The console has been simplified to analog gauges with also a digital display to tell you what gears and how the machine is operating. Air circulation is always very important in a wheel loader cab. You can see that we've got ample air diffusers both on all the posts that are directed at the operator. You also have them on the rear of the post going to the rear window and also up in front covering your front windows. Very good air circulation for operator comfort. The right-hand console is a completely new layout. The switches are in line with the operator, are very easily within reach, and very easy to operate. Single lever joystick is standard, and you can also get a 3-lever configuration. Brand new forward neutral reverse switch, and also you still have your downshift button on the front of the control lever. But overall, increased roominess, ergonomically designed, excellent visibility both to the front and also to the rear of the machine. A lot of people talk about forward thinking starting at the front, but at Case, with the introduction of the mid-mount cooling module, forward thinking starts at the rear half of the machine. The mid-mount cooling module does a couple things for us. Basically, it's a box of coolers with all the coolers mounted on the external part of that box. So every cooler is getting the same cool ambient air circulating through it. So you maximize your cooling efficiency, which reduces your fluid breakdown and extends component life. The mid-mount cooling module also has an integrated hydraulic tank that's positioned in the center of the coolers. The air that is drawn in through the coolers runs across the surface of that hydraulic tank, cooling that hydraulic tank, but also the air is directed back behind the engine. The cooling module is also equipped with a hydraulic-driven reversing fan. The hydraulic-driven fan is a larger fan which turns at a slower RPM, which reduces noise levels, but also does not take away any horsepower from the engine. With the mid-mount cooling module positioned here, we were able to move the engine back behind the rear axle so that we could also contour the rear hood. That is why we have excellent rear visibility. With the engine positioned to the rear, we're able to get 3 remote drains. Environmentally friendly, very easy to get to, so that you can change both your coolant, your engine oil, and hydraulic oil by simply putting a container right underneath this area. Again, the mid-mount cooling module moved the engine to the back. So another benefit of that being moved to the back, of course, is the engine is very accessible. You can see we have an electronic lift hood. Once the hood raises, you can see the accessibility that you have to your ground line maintenance. You have your diesel fuel fill right here, which is lockable underneath the hood. Your oil fill, you can see again, vertically mounted filters for easy changing, plus your oil changing. So everything that you need to do on your daily maintenance is located right here at ground line level. This ground line maintenance provides Case the best-in-class maintainability. The 6.7 liter is a Case engine. It's fully electronic, and it incorporates the new Common Rail fuel injection system. And basically that is for Tier 3 certification. The Common Rail injection system is a high-pressure fuel injection system which allows the fuel and air to mix a little bit more equally, so you get a much cleaner burn to meet those emission standards. The Case 6.7 liter fully electronic engine has 3 power curves. We have economy power, we have standard, and we have max power. The difference between the 3 power curves is in economy power, going to standard is a boost of about 10% horsepower, and then going to max is an additional 10% boost in horsepower. When would you use the economy power? Is if you were operating in a pipe yard, don't need the breakout force, the lift capacity. That'd be something that you use the economy mode for maximum fuel economy, and of course just the opposite for the max power. When you get the full breakout force, need the high productivity. Being a fully electronic engine, Case can provide 4 work modes: max work mode, standard work mode, economy work mode, and also an auto work mode. Again, the real difference between them is the difference in horsepower that you're providing. But in the auto mode, what the machine will be doing is sensing the load on the hydraulics, sensing the load on the transmission, and fluctuating between the power curves that we talked about earlier to provide you the best fuel economy, but also the maximum tons of material moved. Also, in the controls on the E-Series, new what's called auto idle. So if the machine is staying stationary for more than 30-40 seconds, the idle will automatically drop down from 900 RPMs to 600 RPMs, saving fuel economy. Continuing on the maintainability and serviceability of this machine, your cab air filter is located here. It's very easily to open and get at that filter. Also up in here you have a lockable glass door that swings open, and behind that is a panel that has all your electrical components and also your hookup for your electronic service tool. Again, vertically mounted hydraulic filters and transmission filters. And the other thing that has been done is that some of the hydraulic components that used to reside at the front half of the machine have now been moved to the rear part of the machine, so you can see that the hose routing coming from the front between the articulation joint has been greatly simplified. Taking a look at the redesign of the new front fender, you can see the redesign of the front fender allows excellent visibility to the front of the tire. So when you're sitting in the cab, you can see close to a third of this front tire. Coming to the back side, that back fender is a solid steel fender, very good for a work platform, so if you can get up, take some maintenance checks, or for cleaning of the windows. The West Coast mirrors are now standard on all cabs. Before they were optional. Taking a look at the work lights, you both have 2 rear work lights plus 2 front work lights that also combine with your regular high beams and low beams. So this in turn concludes our quick walk around of the E-Series wheel loaders. I want to thank you for joining me, and good selling.